Hi, I'm Paul Skeldon, editor at Telemedia Magazine. I'm here at Telemedia Johannesburg in sunny Johannesburg. I'm joined by James McNab, WASPA/Basebone. I believe you're the outgoing chairman, aren't you, of WASPA? I think your time's just coming to an end. Is that right?
Yeah, today is the last AGM that I'll be hosting and acting as chair for, and tomorrow will be our sports day, so once that's out of the way, my time with the WASPA board and involvement with the board will end. It started back in August 2013. It's been 13 years, so wow. I actually depart as the longest serving consecutive board member for the organisation. If you take into account that we were formed in 2004, I've probably been a mainstay for some considerable time.
Yeah, it's a big proportion of it, isn't it?
And the evolution of what our mandate is, which is consumer protection and self-regulation.
So it's a big question, but how much has changed in that time that you've been doing it?
Lots, and not a lot. Because if you actually look at the industry, when I was writing my foreword for the AGM pack last week, I actually did a quick AI search of what were the pertinent issues in 2013 when I joined the board, and I went back over some emails. And then I actually look at what the pertinent issues are that we're dealing with today. And miraculously, believe it or not, they're very similar. So if I go back to 2013, the biggest challenge to the messaging side of the industry was the OTT introduction of WhatsApp. And we had companies like Mixit in South Africa and WeChat were big, and WhatsApp was just taking off in terms of size. The second point would have been the introduction from the government of the Hopi legislation, which is data protection. And then the third point was in the content side of the business, the fraud in terms of clickjacking and all that sort of stuff. Fast forward to 2026, what are the three major issues that we've got? In messaging, it's the positioning of international versus domestic, and how that's being built and the rules being put in and around that by the network operators. We've got the latest legislation from Hopi, which is an opt-out registry, which is impacting the direct marketing industry, which will impact our networks, will impact our content providers, and it will impact the messaging, where they have to register and pay for lookups. And then the third and final one, which is just evolution of Google per se, is the 154 HTTPS issue. So if you actually compare the three, they're very, very similar in both years, but just an evolution of how we've moved on as society.
Which is funny, isn't it? Because they are similar, yet also in many ways very different. Particularly the sort of Google 154 side of it is quite a different sort of challenge, really. To companies trying to sort of generate traffic and with the loss of header enrichment, it's quite a technical sort of problem to fix. I think also though within that time period, the actual market has changed phenomenally though, hasn't it? Well, there are way more people sort of using digital content for starters, and in many different ways.
We've known each other a long time, 20 plus years, because I started my career in the UK. And if I look at when I first moved to South Africa, I've been with Basebone for 15 years, on the board of WASPA for 13. So two big chunks of my life have been in and around what goes on in South Africa and obviously other markets. But I started my career in one of the first ringtone companies in the UK selling ringtones. I moved to South Africa in I started working in South Africa in 2011, moved here in 2013, and ringtones and wallpapers were prominent features of what we were selling. And I was having a conversation with our CEO not that long ago, and how the industry has evolution comes, but I'm doing the same stuff. So if I go back to my days at Oxygenate, which is now DMB, in 2004 we launched a service called Fantastic with Endemol, which was CGI technology of like a drama series before 24 launched their Mobisodes. I fast forward to 2026, and part of the conversations that we're having from a content perspective is microdramas. And it's like, well, 20 odd years later, the content has evolved, it's got better, it's got more usability from a consumer perspective, but technology's not really moved on. I mean, you've got to go back to the beginning. User-generated content platforms where Snowdonia magazine or what have you in the UK was people posting pictures of them hiking up mountains. And user-generated content now is Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. where we're using it. So it's evolved from what it was as a basic format in the early noughties to being huge conglomerates driving digital advertising and industry from a digital perspective. We're consuming more on our mobile. So it's changed, but it hasn't.
I think the scale's changed, hasn't it? Because, like you say, it is just sort of user-generated content, but across Instagram, TikTok, it's millions and millions of people doing millions and millions of videos. Whereas back in the noughties, it was still reasonably niche and was always expected to grow. I remember writing about it, like this was going to be big, and lo, it was.
You chaired many a panel that I sat on.
Absolutely.
Back in the day.
And we're still talking about the same thing. You're right.
Participation TV was a big thing, and now it's standard.
But it's so big. I think that's the thing that's changed, isn't it? Everything has got much bigger. It's much broader. It's totally mainstream, which I think has very much changed the telemedia industry. It's much more of a kind of mainstream business now.
From both sides, even from the WASPA side or from a baseball side or the telemedia side, we've had to adapt and evolve into staying relevant within a market that is much more mass consumer. I mean, when I was studying marketing at university, we were told to look at FMCG, pretty much your supermarkets, your Carrefours, your Tesco's, Walmarts, what have you. Now we're looking at how is Google, TikTok, Meta, whoever is evolving, and then actually you start reading the articles now, it's evolving into AI. I mean, you've just got to look at Crystal Palace was one of those football clubs that had to change their shirt sponsor because of the betting ban in the English Premiership. So they've gone with an AI company, and it's quite weird when you read the articles about it. And off the top of my head, I can't remember the name of the company that's their shirt sponsor, but that sponsor hasn't gone for visual. They're not interested in how many eyes see their name on the shirt. What they're interested in is getting into the boardroom at European nights with an Arsenal, the current Premier League champions, or a Liverpool or a Manchester United, talking to the execs there and what they can do with AI. And their main aim, which is not available in sports, is fan unification. Where does that take us to in the digital age next? Because we want to engage with fans. I mean, you've just got to look at the different type of sponsorships in Formula One and what they're doing with it. It's gone from tobacco companies and big technology companies like Oracle to Gucci taking a title sponsorship out. Yeah. And it's weird how it's all working, but everything is moving towards inclusion of your audience and how we do that from a digital perspective. And then you've got to look at how can we do that from a revenue growth point of view. So I don't think it's going to be about licensing rights in the future. I think it's going to be about what is relevant here now and how we're going to do it and how we're going to engage with each other. And we need the networks and the platforms and the internet connectivity data, what have you, to be able to do that and just move us forward. So
absolutely.
What's in the next 10 years? Who knows?
Well, we'll have to wait and see. James, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for all your time you've devoted to WASPA as well. I didn't realise it was 13 years. It's been a while. Amazing. So well done.
Got grey.
Good luck. Yes, haven't we all? Good luck with what you move on to next in the telemedia world. And thank you for taking the time to talk to us. And we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for watching.